because it's weak right here, right now. Hold on, he's
he's stupid. He's stupid.
He extended that, y'all. He extended it. I had to go crazy.
I'm invested in a text message right now. I forgot. All right, man. Welcome to another episode of the Flagrant Two. If you haven't done so already, please go like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can be tuned into our newest videos and hot takes, because this is probably gonna be the hottest take that I don't want to say the hottest, but it's gonna be one of the hottest takes I'm ever gonna put on this pod. Embiid is snubbed for MVP because of his injury. And I don't care what nobody says. Embiid, the healthy Embiid, best player in the league. He's better than Joker. I don't care what nobody says. The thing about Joker is Joker's a better passer. Cool. But what happens when you pass and your teammates ain't hitting the shot? Are we going to count on you to drop 40, 50 on a given night? No. I could bet that on Embiid. Embiid snubbed for MVP. Matter of fact, you know it's crazy, and I say Embiid is going to get snubbed, but honestly, realistically, with the injury, the real snub is going to be Luka. But that's a conversation for another day. Joker's going to more than likely get the MVP this year. This argument is for Embiid. Embiid doesn't get injured. I think Embiid makes his case for MVP. Thoughts?
No. Oh, shit, I'm with you on that one. As far as it's because of injuries, because we seen what he was doing during the regular season. But for you to say he's just a completely better basketball player than Jokic, just because Jokic's best ability is pass?
No, I don't. I'm not knocking anybody if your best ability is passing. Steve Nash's best ability was passing. Jason Williams, best ability, passing. Jason Kidd, best ability, passing. LeBron, arguably, best ability, passing. Arguably.
The thing about it, though, right? The thing about it, what I was about to say is his best ability is passing, yeah. But you talking about that on any given night, we've seen Jokic go for 30, go for 40. He could do that. It's just like not in his blood and makeup to actually just do that. He enjoys passing the ball, but we can see every night he has a mismatch, and that's the reason why he's getting double teamed and he's making the right passes, the right reads. Because any given night, this man can still go for 30. We could see Jokic put up 50 if he truly wanted to, and nobody could stop him. Nobody. So just to say Embiid is a completely better player is crazy. I could sit there and say, yo, we'll give it to him like, yo, they're closely even. Mm-hmm. And 1A, 1B type of scenario, but just completely better? I see why you said this is going to be a craziest take, because it is.
It's a hot take. Listen,
this is the dumbest.
Okay. So you have a team full of shooters. Obviously, your best bet is to have a Joker, get the ball to the shooters, kind of draw up the attention, etc., etc. But Embiid is on a team where his best shooter is his point guard. Everybody else is iffy, up and down. Embiid is clearly by far the best player. He goes down. They're in the play-in. Prior to him going down, there was a top 14. So yeah. I think that Embiid's value, because if I remove Joker from Denver, I don't think there's that much of a significant drop off to what Denver does. I don't think it's that deep of a drop off. I think it's a drop off. I don't think it's as significant as Embiid going down in Philly. B goes down in Philly, they're done. Joker goes down in Denver, they're still a top 14, in my opinion. So I that's why I feel like the more valuable player is Embiid. But if you want to talk about the better player, yeah, the all around Joker is all around better. facilitating. I can't put defense on it. He's a willing defender, but he's not like a don't come
he
into the
uses
paint.
his strength.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like
He ain't gonna change no shots in the paint.
right. Embiid is guarding 1 through 5. He could switch. He may not be effective against smaller, the ones and the threes, but he has the ability to switch, and he's a force in the paint. That's Embiid. You're not coming into the paint and just gamming. Like it's not happening. So yeah. I feel like it's a what's the makeup of your team? What's the makeup of your roster? And that's the only reason why I say that Embiid is the more valuable player. Prior to this injury, I think that his case would have been he's more valuable to his team, and him going down, and now his team is end up playing this. It backs up my argument.
Yo, I'm just saying, you just using that. You using that V word a lot, and it's the truth. Like Embiid's gonna be more valuable to his team, but that's just because the makeup of the GMs. We're not using those words. The GM, the GM said, "Yo, Jokic, you know what? You're not that great at defending the paint. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna go get you a 6'8" player who's athletic as hell, and we're gonna have you a high on the screens and let them cover the back line. We're gonna get you a 6'10" Michael Porter. Yeah, he's not the best at covering on your back line, but he's 6'10" and tall. So we're gonna do that. You know what, Embiid? You're phenomenal at guarding the paint. We're gonna try to let you be there and have people who move around well with you. Oh, Embiid, you're hurt. Oh, Jokic, you're hurt. I'm sorry. We happen to have a team over here in Denver who's been here, who's done that, and who's not just learning this how to win. Philly, we have people whose first year of finally dropping 50 points. Now you have to lead a team without Embiid. Of course, Embiid's going to be more valuable because the team around him is absolutely shitty compared to the Nuggets. They're not shitty, but you know what I mean?
I get you.
Like, he's clearly going to be the more valuable player because of the scenarios around them, but that's because of the GMs and what they did to go ahead and get Harden. It's already trickled down to the situation.
Yeah.
If they still had Harden there and Harden was playing fantastic, way they finally meshed together and got it going, even without Embiid, you'll be sitting here looking at Philly like they can compete with Nuggets without, if both of them was out. If Jokic and Embiid was out and it was just the Nuggets going against each other with Harden out there, you obviously still would give it to the Nuggets because they still got a better overall team. In my mind, I would still have them winning. But with Harden there, you would still sit there and be like, all right, Harden could push him to a win without him.
Yeah, because you're not.
I think. And don't get me wrong, Embiid, he's not snubbed because injuries. He's snubbed because he's always injured. That's what it is. Embiid, if he was healthy throughout his entire career, he probably would have 2, 3, 4 MVPs the way he's playing, and then still now would be getting really into another form of his game.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's like, yes, he's snubbed because he was the MVP before he went down. 70-point game, 60-point game. He had moments that give you MVPs, period. Jokic, he don't, honestly, let's look at it. Jokic just seemed like he never cares about MVPs. He just goes out there and plays the game. Whatever the game needs from him, he'll play it that way. The other day, he had like 30 points in the first half. It didn't look good, but that's the way they had to play.
Yeah, they had to grind it out. No, so I agree.
But Embiid is clearly the MVP of this season if he didn't go down with injuries. But right now, it's up for the 2 foreign white boys. My boy Jokic and my boy Luka. And then Shea right there.
Yeah, Shea.
They move Luka. They move Luka. They move Luka above Shea, like we were saying anyway. But
Yeah. I mean, I still think that. Man, it's crazy because I think that Luka is deserving, but Joker's just been way more consistent. Luka, he started hot in the season, kind of fizzled down, then turned it back up, found a different gear, and he's going into these playoffs hitting that gear too. So it's tough. It's tough. There's an argument for both sides. Okay, should Luka have it? Absolutely. But then it's like Joker can too. And then you mix in Shea. Shea arguably has been more consistent than both of them, just consistent wise. And on top of that, he leads all guards in steals. Like he's doing it on both ends of the court. So I think that it's a tough, tight race, but ultimately I think Joker is going to get it. But if I had a vote, my vote would probably go to Luka. Luka's just been it's just been a lot of wow. Luka's just wow.
That's what truly, and I always say MVP moments, MVP this, you have to have those moments to win. Something that sticks out. It's just like I was saying about Shea. Shea is just consistent throughout the year.
Yeah.
Jokic is somebody who's really consistent. Yeah.
He hasn't really had
you like, all right, he got 30 points, but he always gets 30 points. Like, and it's not, you know what I mean? Not no crazy 50, 60 points. You just like, damn.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the same that goes with kind of for Jokic. Jokic is just consistent, but he just something we never seen at the big position before, being this dominant. So it's like him doing this consistently. You like, damn, triple doubles. Yeah, damn. This is crazy. But the thing that Luka be doing out there, he be having real moments where you're like, damn, this guy is really one of the best guards out there. Nobody's touching him. And those are the things that you watch and you remember, and you're like, damn, it's kind of MVP type stuff. Don't get me wrong. Jokic have his moments, and you just like, damn, but it's just like he has team moments. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you like, but individual moments, you just like, damn, these guys have these MVP individual moments.
I think the only moment that I could really remember from Joker this season was that the dagger 3 against the Warriors. Other than
that's
that,
it's just one I'm thinking too.
But other than that, it's like he hasn't really had those type of moments either. It's just been really solid play, willing his team to victories, doing the right, doing the right thing on the court, and that's not a knock on him. That's not a knock on anybody. That's what you're supposed to do on the court. But Luka has not only done that, been in the right spots, willed his team to win, but has shown so many MVP moments this season. I mean, and on top of that, like he's kind of defended a little bit this year. He hasn't been like a crazy I'm gonna stop you from scoring defender, consistently, but I mean he'll lock in for a quarter, and sometimes that's really all you need from your number one. So I mean, I can't knock Luka the way that everybody is praising Joker. It's like Joker's phenomenal player, but we've been praising him for like the past 4 years. Like, let's sing the tune to these other guys. You know what I'm saying?
Don't do this now. This is the old adage story. Yeah, I mean, we have, but this is also something that comes into the media as well. And not to say that we're top tier media where everybody's listening to us, but we can't just get tired of a guy who's being fantastic.
No, I'm not tired. I'm just saying,
because that's the
give him his flowers, but let's give the flowers to other people too. That's all I'm saying.
But
you know what I'm saying? Like, let's give Luka his flowers.
That's also one of the things too. Like, yo, and this is a tired thing. Like, you know what I mean? Where you get tired of someone just being so good that you just got to give it to somebody else until next year, Jokic can come out and prove he's even better than he really already is. Like, it's tough to get even better than the best. You're the best. So it's just like, yo, it's like even last year with Embiid won it. I thought Jokic would beat it. That was Jokic's win, but a lot of people ain't want to give him his third in a row. And this year, Embiid has really been the number one. And if he didn't get injured, this is the one that I'm like, yo, Embiid truly earned this one for real.
I think he earned.
Last year was like a, you've been second here. You know what I mean? We seen Jokic do this, but you've been second here. Take this one, but this is the one he truly earned and deserved. And I'm glad he has an MVP, but this is the one that he truly
This
earned
is the
and
one that he did.
deserved if he didn't get injured.
But I would say my argument to that also would be that he probably should have. Joker should have won last year, but Embiid should have won the year prior. And again, it goes down to injuries. I think he was like 2 injuries off of even being able to qualify for it. But again,
I mean, back then it wasn't qualifying. I mean, that time it wasn't qualifying. It's just literally the media having their own qualification.
Yeah, it was the media having their agenda about the injuries. But he deserved it the year before. He didn't deserve it last year. I think last year was Joker. And I think that it was one of them things where it's like, well, Embiid should have probably won it the year before. So we're going to give it to him now. But it's tough. It's tough. And you're absolutely right. I think that when guys are still playing fantastic, you can make that argument for half of the players in the league. LeBron, Kobe, when he was there. I mean, there's so many players in the league that's been so great and consistent at being great and being the best in the world that it's like the media be like, well, I don't want to give him another award because like let's give it to somebody else. I don't want to make that case. Like that's my case for Luka. I think my case for Luka is the fact that he's really put together a fantastic season and he's giving me everything that I've asked for. You know, all the boxes that we asked for you to check, he's checked them. The MVP moments, he's checked them. The willing your team to win, he's checked that. Being in the right spots and being a vocal leader for your team, he's checked that. The scoring. And even the being willing to defend, he's checked that. He's checked every single box this season. That for him not to win it is going to be tough. And I'm not saying that Joker doesn't deserve to win it. I think that the 3 that we named, all 3 of them are viable candidates, and all 3 of them should at least deserve the right to be in that conversation. But if you're asking me right now, I think Luka has been the best player in the league this year. Bar none.
Yeah. Definitely. One
Joker's
of the best.
There. Joker's right there, though.
And we say the best behind Embiid.
Obviously. But I can't put Embiid into this conversation because of the injury. But I'm glad he's back. I'm glad they could try to make some noise into the, going into the playoffs. Let's get into the playing. Well, before we get into the battle for California, let me just run off this list. So currently, as it stands in the Eastern Conference, the top 6 teams: Boston, Milwaukee, New York, Cleveland, Orlando, Indiana. The 4 teams in the play-in for the Eastern Conference is Philadelphia, Miami, Chicago, and Atlanta. Going to the West, top 6 teams: Denver, Minnesota, Oklahoma City, Los Angeles Clippers, Dallas, New Orleans. The 4 teams in the play-in: Phoenix, Sacramento, Golden State, Los Angeles Lakers. So let's just go ahead and get into the battle of California. Currently, as it stands right now, all 3 teams are tied. They're all tied for last place in the play-in. All of them are 45 and 35, 2 games left in the season. It really just comes down to positioning for them because they're already locked into the play-in. It just comes down to positioning. Whether somebody loses, somebody comes up. The worst that any of these teams could be is 10. The best that any of these teams could be is 8.
Lakers is. I swear the Lakers is able to actually get up to there. Oh, you said
no. The best that they could be is 8. The worst that they could be is 10.
You got it. Yeah. Nah, you're right.
Out of these 3 in California, which one do you have the most faith in, and which one do you have the least faith in? Obviously, whoever you don't pick is in the middle.
First of all, we talk about this battle for LA or Cali, right?
Cali,
first of all, I want to give a shout out to the Clippers because they ain't got to deal with this nonsense. So far, they're the best in Cali, but out of the 3 losers, because we talking about the bottom feeders of the playoffs right here.
Right.
And we're even talking about them. That's how great that LeBron, Steph has been for so long that they're in a play-in and we're talking about them. Let me sidetrack for that real quick. But who do I have the most faith in? Obviously, as a Warriors fan, I'm gonna say the Warriors, and then the Lakers. The Kings, no, because at the end of the day, we said it. They were a product of good health last season.
It was.
They played fantastic, and they're still playing good this year. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, they are.
But they lost Herder. Monk is hurt, so it's just like, you know what I mean. You're playing with a low staff right here, and then guess who you're playing against? You're about to play against the Phoenix Suns if it ends right here, and depending on how things shake and things move, the Phoenix Suns. I don't have faith in the Phoenix Suns myself, but what I do have faith in,
a lot of people have faith in the Suns.
Yeah, but what I do have faith in is that they have a possibility to beat the Kings, and a high possibility to beat the Kings. So that's a real tough matchup right there that you got to play against three of these guys.
Yeah.
And it's just like, but the thing about it's tough because I'm going to give it, like I said, I have more faith in the Warriors, but the Lakers versus the Warriors is a scary thing for the Warriors because of the size and how they usually dominate in the paint against the Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, as a team, I've got faith in the Warriors, but as a matchup between these two in that 10th, you know what I mean? 9-10 spot, the Lakers is going to be tough. And it's up to the young boys out of anybody to really fill that gap of what's needed for the Warriors actually win this out. To get out the play-in, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that take. I don't think any of these teams are going to get out the play-in. New Orleans can't finish lower than 7th. Phoenix could finish as high as 6th. So going into that, they're locked into the play-in currently.
Yeah.
I think that out of those 3 teams in California, my money would be on Golden State. I think that their play and their rejuvenation that they've had at the end of the season is going to it could be scary. You could be looking at a rejuvenated Clay who's motivated. You could be looking at a scary Stephen Curry who always shows up in the playoffs. I mean, his averages in the playoffs speak for itself. And then you could possibly have a level-headed Dre, possibly, but it's the supporting cast that really wows me about the Warriors. Everybody has stepped up on from Golden State. Everybody on the bench, the starters. Chris Paul has cemented himself in that second point guard. The guy coming off the bench, he's playing fantastic off the bench. You got not just the continuity with these guys and knowing how to win, but you also have the drive. I think that plays a factor. Los Angeles, outside of maybe AD-ish, but outside of LeBron, there's no winners on there. They don't know how to win completely together as of right now. You could say that LeBron could will you to win, but LeBron can only do so much. So let's say that it's going to be Phoenix and Golden State versus Sacramento and LA. I see Golden State and LA both going into the playoffs. Now you're going to have Denver going against LA, which I think is a good matchup. But ultimately Denver's a better team and AD is going to have fits with Joker. Now the Minnesota versus Golden State, that's a completely different thing because Steph feasts on big guys that try to come out onto the perimeter and defend on switches. Gobert and Cat, they're gonna have a tough time trying to guard Steph. And you could say, we're gonna put that on Steph and we're gonna try to run him off the screens. Yeah, that's probably gonna work game 1. It's not gonna work an entire series. You're gonna ask your guys 7 games to lock in the Steph. It's not happening.
Yeah, they ain't even gonna have Ant on him. They're gonna have Jaden McDaniels.
And even with Jaden McDaniels, I love McDaniels. I think he should be first or second team all defense. But we're talking about Steph. Steph is a killer.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact. Regardless, it's tough. Yeah, they'll just go to more screen and rolls. Probably have TJD, Terrence Jackson Davis, a lot more setting screens on ball and figuring that out. But we'll see. But yeah, that's going to be a tough matchup for Minnesota, especially with losing Cat, who we already said was one of the X factors for that team.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot Cat was out, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he could
I
change.
definitely forgot Cat
Yeah,
was out.
he could completely change the game depending on how he plays. And without him being a factor, it's just like, all right, now we could key in on Anthony Edwards. And now it's just going to be Conley versus Conley and a Gobert ball. And it's just like, we'll see how that goes.
And the thing is with Gobert, he's not physically demanding. Like, he's not somebody that you're afraid of. You know what I'm saying?
That's
bring him out to the perimeter. I could live with that. I could live with taking him outside of the paint. And that's exactly what the Warriors do.
That's a fact, because he's honestly, technically, he's a better version of a Sean Bradley. Like, let's keep it a stack. He's a defensive version that shuts things down, but he's just tall and he could, you know what I mean? He's not as mobile as you expect. But the thing about it is, like, with the team that they have, the defensive lineups that they have that they could put out there, it's not going to be the same Gobert we sitting here thinking Steph cooking up where they was in the Jazz.
Yeah.
It's going to happen a few times, but they have so much. Like I said, they got Jaden McDaniels, who his job is defense. He's going to give so much effort to get over them screens.
Yeah.
And be a pass to the point where Gobert doesn't have to switch off. It's going to happen every once in a while, depending on who's out there. But I think Jaden McDaniels, he's going to be such a pest, and he's going to give fits. But I understand what we say about Steph, but he's going to give fits for him at some point.
I think it all comes down to. I think it all comes down to what version of Clay we're going to get. If we're going to get,
because we get the playoff Clay.
Yeah, if we get vintage playoff Clay, it's going to be tough for any team in the West.
Yeah,
I think that the big three rolling on all cylinders, they're a scary team.
That's a fact, because if you get that Clay in a Lakers series, then it's just like it's game over. It's trash. You know, we could call it a wrap for the Warriors. If he's going to be shooting wide open shots and bricking, it's just like, yo.
So
I'm good for.
Are you more interested in the West shaping out, or are you more interested in the East shaping out? Because
the East playing is going to be the West.
I don't know. I think I'm more interested in the East playing. I think that Chicago has kind of come alive a little bit. Atlanta's still a factor, but it's Miami and Philly. Those are the two teams that, like, I'm looking at the playing and I'm like, yeah, they gonna ruffle some feathers, because just because of the teams that they are. You got Embiid in Philly. Embiid is back. He's healthy. He's hungry. And then you got Miami.
Yeah, I don't know about healthy, but he's back.
You got playoff Butler. You got Jimmy Butler, who this whole season he was on side missions. Now he focused on the main campaign. You know what I mean? Like, he hit. So I want to see. But talking about the East, we'll stay in the East real quick. I don't trust Boston. I don't trust Boston.
No.
I don't trust Boston at all. And I don't even want to bring up the Knicks blowout that they gave them, because Brunson and the rest of those the Wolf Pack, the Cat Pack, or whatever they want to call each other, they rested the fourth quarter. They was chilling whole fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And this is a game that everybody started. It wasn't like there was somebody out. No, everybody was here. Everybody came to play. And the Knicks took the top off the stadium real quick. You know what I'm saying? Put them in the Maybach music. Rick Ross them.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I don't trust Boston because they're like, there's no change. You spoke about this in the beginning of the season. The shot's not falling. Why isn't your best players doing things to create and open it up so that the shots could fall later on? You know your shots are not falling early. Do other things. It's like they're so focused on it's either drive or shoot a three. There's no in between. There's no. I don't see any plays designed to free Jason Tatum into some mid ranges. I don't see any. I don't see any motivation for some back doors for Jaylen Brown. There's no clear like. Let's get something shaken on offense, and then defensively, how you be up 20 points and blow a lead? This has been a recurring thing. This all 18 losses that they have on their record right now is because they blew a 30-point lead.
Yeah.
I won't say all.
This is one thing. Yeah.
But you get me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one thing that I'm really thinking about too. Is like I said, they don't have a change of pace in their offensive game flow, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when we look at this, bro, let's keep it a stack. This is one of the prettiest teams in the A. And I say it because they don't have anybody who is really down to get dirty.
Nope.
We have a Drew, and I'm not excluding Drew Holiday. We have a Drew Holiday. But I think Drew Holiday is one of them blue collar defenders where he goes out, he does his job. Yeah, he doesn't rile anybody up to do it as well. He's not that Marcus Smart. You know how Marcus Smart was like, he's getting out there, getting in people's faces, clapping. Yep. He's doing all of that, getting everybody and everybody's feeding off that energy.
Yep.
Drew Holiday, he goes out there and he'll give you everything Marcus Smart what he gave you as far as defensively. He'll shut things down. He'll be in different positions and everything, but he doesn't give you that heart and soul.
Nope.
That pushes everybody up just a level. And now you got to sit here and think of it like, yo, Tatum, Brown, y'all got to be the leaders. And sometimes when it's time for y'all to lead, y'all just sitting here looking like perfect followers. Like y'all perfect. Like even when we think about it, like one of the game winner that Tatum had against Brooklyn in the playoffs, it came off of Marcus Smart going and getting the ball.
Yep.
And he made a pass to Tatum, who would just happen to cut thinking he's shooting.
Yep.
Like some of these things is just like you got to be that doggish, that bulldog where you're just going and getting things and getting it done. Nobody on that team is truly that, and no one has ever been that. No matter what, you could look at KP, even Drew Holiday. When he was wherever he was, and then we know Brown and Tatum always been together, and neither one of them truly had that dog. They have moments, but they don't have that true dog in them where it's there all the time, and it's just like, yo,
there's no switch. There's no switch to take over.
Yeah.
There's no incentive.
You're nervous of them, but you never scared of them.
Yeah, I
nervous
agree.
at what they could do, but you're not scared of them.
Yeah, it's like on paper, this team, that especially with their record, especially with top to bottom, their bench, everything that they could put together, they're a formidable team. But it's like, what team in the East is scaring me? There's no team in the East currently, as it stands, that's truly scaring me. In the West, you could say, yeah, Minnesota, they any given night, they're pretty scary. Denver, of course, scary. Oklahoma, the way they play, the way they gel, scary. Mavs, scary. Clips, yeah, up and down. It depends.
Yeah, but if they right, they scary. That's the thing.
Yeah, New Orleans, same. They're in the same boat with the Clippers. Golden State, everything clicking, scary. Lakers, AD and LeBron going crazy. Yeah, scary. You look in the East currently, as it stands, I think the scariest team out there in the East currently is probably Miami, only because every single one in Miami are dogs. They're dogs. Yeah. They come to play. They're the scariest team defensively. Other than that, they don't scare me offensively. If you could outscore them, you don't let them get in your head. You don't let them slow the game down. Yeah, you could beat Miami. Boston doesn't scare me. If Boston plays New York in a 7-game series, my money's on New York. Boston plays Milwaukee, even with all of Milwaukee's problems. As with the healthy Giannis, let's keep things frank, because Giannis we don't know Giannis' health right now. But healthy Giannis, yeah, Milwaukee. My money's on Milwaukee. Indiana, maybe. It just depends if the boys is up to running. And
nah, I ain't giving it that.
Yeah, but Orlando
you're going too far.
Orlando got defense.
Yeah, but it's just
I wouldn't put my money on Orlando, but I would put my money that it will go 7 games. Like it shouldn't be that way. You're the clear number one with the best record in the league, 62-18, best record in the league. You have what 5-6 more wins than the next closest team. If that, what's that? What's the Denver record?
62 wins.
Yeah, so you have about
62 wins.
Yeah, so you got 8 more wins than the next closest team in Denver, right? So at the end of the day, and on top of that, you're like 15 games ahead in the East. It means you've dominated the East so far. And it's crazy because you're going into the playoffs and you don't look like the number one team. That to me is a recipe for disaster. And I'm not saying that the Boston don't have enough to get to the finals, because I do think that they do. That me and you already predicted at the beginning of the season that Boston was the team to go to the finals in the East, but they could very well lose in the second round. They could very well lose in the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't see them dominating. And it's crazy. It's like you watch stretches where they do dominate, up 20, 30 points. Then if you're up 20, 30 points, the only time that they're supposed to get back into double digits is if you got all your scrubs and the end of the bench. them dudes and the starting lineup is still on, and it's fourth quarter.
But if you come out at halftime and you up 20, and by the time you hit the fourth quarter, it's a game. It's within 5 points. It's like, yo, what y'all was doing this whole?
What are y'all doing this entire time? Oh, we can post that y'all not the Warriors. Y'all can't put the game away in 3 quarters and just be like, all right, because what the 2015-16 Warriors, they could do that. They can do that.
You got KD, you got Steph, you got all of them. Like, come on. But none of y'all have been giving me KD or Steph vibes. Like, you know,
nobody. No. And then on top of that, who's the dog? Who's the dog? Because even during that 73 win season, they had 2 dogs. They had Iggy and they had Dre. Who's the dog? Who's the dog? I thought that losing Marcus Smart, Brown will become that dog, because he's a solid 2-way player. But again, he's like Drew Holiday. I'm going to come to work. There's no rah-rah stuff. I'm not going to talk crazy. I'm just going to play my game. I'm going to slash a couple of times. If my 3 is working, it's going down. Sometimes I might drive left, but I'll pray that you don't steal the ball or I don't turn it over. But there's no dog. There's no
nah.
That's going to be their downfall. Marcus Smart was a bigger piece to their team than they realized.
Yeah, definitely.
Now look at you.
Definitely, but I mean, it still works out because Marcus Smart got hurt. So, you know, he would have got hurt over here. It would have been.
Who's your currently, as it stands, who's your sleeper in both conferences? Who could make noise in the playoffs? Who's your sleeper?
I mean, you know, they're always gonna say the Heat, but you know, I ain't even gonna talk about the Heat. I'm gonna sit there and say somebody either like it's gonna be between that 4 and the 5 because ain't nobody thinking about them, and that's either the Cavs or the Magic. So I'm most likely to say the Cavs because you got a guy like Donovan Mitchell, and then you got a fantastic defensive big behind him. I understand this feels like Utah all over again.
It does,
but you know, like it feels like Utah all over again, but. It
feels like a more athletic version of Utah.
Like because at the end of the day, they still ain't got a defensive wing. They got a big who could block shots. They also got another big this time who can actually, you know, be physical around there.
Yeah.
But I think the Cavaliers, they're a team who could, you know, obviously upset the Magics and go on to the next seed.
Yeah.
And give fits to the Celtics.
I agree. Who you got in the West?
In the West, I mean, I don't know if this is really it, but you know the Mavericks, man. I gotta say, because at the end of the day, I know they coming. I know they coming off. They coming off super strong going into this, and early in the season, ain't nobody really look at them that much. But since that trade, bringing in the big man and bringing in Washington and everything, it just. And then Kyrie Irving starting to go crazy. It just really been showing something crazy. And they're going against the Clippers in the first round. So it's just like, we know what Luka does to the Clips, so it's just like
yeah, tough.
It's tough.
Tough.
Well, go ahead.
No, I agree with you with the Mavs. They're my sleeper. I think that potentially they could wind up in the finals. It on the back of Kyrie and Luka. But that's my sleeper. I think my borderline sleeper will probably be Oklahoma, but I still think that they're too young. I think that another year, together, seeing what they have and everything, maybe moving some pieces around, maybe trading Giddey. I think Giddey would flourish in a different opportunity, and they need somebody to take up those minutes. So we'll see what happens in the offseason. But I want to say Dallas. In the East, I gotta go with my guys. I gotta go with my guys. My Villanova Wildcats. You know what I mean? I'm gonna stick with my guys. Look, everybody said that was crazy. Tweeted, Twitter, Facebook, everybody was saying I was crazy because I said that this team right now playing better than if they was to have Randall. It's not it's not a wild take. Everybody's saying that's a hot take or it's wild take. You're crazy about it's not. You look at this team ever since the OG trade, they've been better defensively. They've been better on the floor together. They've been moving better. Josh Hart's been inserted into the lineup, and you would think that 3 small guards wouldn't be able to make that much noise. But I mean, look at them. You have Hart, OG, Brunson, and DiVincenzo. Yeah, I need you. DiVincenzo.
You got it.
and then you got a big. Then you got a mobile big at that who can still shoot because they still haven't inserted Mitch back in yet. But Mitch is a formidable paint protector. But you have Hutchinson right now who could shoot the 3, who could give you pick and pops. You know what I'm saying? So right now they're moving on all cylinders, and I think they're like top 5 in defensive net percentages and stuff like that. They're a team right now that's scary, and I think that they make it and see the Celtics. That's the only team I feel like is in their way, other than a healthy Milwaukee, depending on Giannis and Doc Rivers.
Yeah, I ain't picked them because I felt like in my mind, like
they're already top.
I feel they're already one of those, but
Well, I say sleeper because I feel like out of every team in the East, I feel like they're not the favorite to make it to the finals. The Celtics are. So in my opinion, they're a sleeper because I feel like they can knock out the Celtics and make it to the finals. I don't think that they'll win. I don't think that any of these teams in the East is going to beat any team from the West. But it's a different conversation. Doc Rivers. So Milwaukee, the other night they had a veterans only meeting. Veterans only meeting over about the state of this team. There was at one point in time they was number 1 in the league. Then they dropped down the second in the East, and they really haven't moved off of second in the East since. But they were up and down team. They haven't fully gelled. They fired their coach before the All-Star game. They didn't really make any moves at the deadline, at the trade deadline. Any significant moves. And right now they're looking like one and done going into the playoffs, especially if Giannis is not going to be healthy. Is Doc the issue, or is it the team as a whole? Is it the front office? Like, what really is the issue? Because I felt like prior to Doc coming, there was a better team. Clearly, I mean, they had the number 1 record in the league prior to Doc coming. So what's the issue?
I think they was only truly number 1 because of schedule, and then they still got talent.
Yeah.
Right. Scheduling and talent. I think Boston was obviously slated to take that number 1 spot from them regardless. There was a few losses in there from Milwaukee that's just like unacceptable losses.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
A lot. Not a
but
few, a lot.
I understand, but some of the things that was going on, literally, it's stuff that's probably still going on now. Like, they're not looking the best all around, period. whether Doc was there or I don't even know the other coach's name while he was there.
Yeah.
So I think this is literally like it's the same thing from that happened at the beginning of the season gonna happen right now. And it don't matter what coach you have right there in these spots. Because it's like at the end of the day, they should have gave the other coach more time, but it's just like if the team ain't messing with him, and it kind of throws the cam off from everybody. But you bringing in a coach in the middle of the season, kind of changing philosophies, and everything. This is what you're gonna get: a tough start, a tough finish, and you're just gonna go through the ups and downs of this part. This is something that's supposed to happen at the beginning of the season, which they was going through a bit.
Yeah.
And if they just left it in the coach, you know what I mean? Left the coach and just trusted him, maybe some of those wins some of them losses they took during this little stretch that Doc was there could have been wins.
Yeah.
And they could have, and guess what? They could have been have 50 wins already. Right now they sitting at 49, but they could have been a 50-win team.
Yeah.
Off rip.
I think what bothers me is the firing of Nick Nurse. And then the hiring of somebody. It was Nick Nurse, wasn't it? Was it Nick Nurse?
Nick Nurse. No. You're talking about Budenholzer?
Oh, why am I saying Nick Nurse? Nick Nurse at.
I mean, they both white. They both did get fired. They both did get fired.
Yeah, they both got fired last year. But Mike Budenholzer. Yeah. So Mike Budenholzer gets fired after leading his team to the finals prior. Winning the finals, then the next year they lose in the first round, but they lost to the eventual team that went to the finals. So a team that was hot, that was going through everybody.
But that's the thing, they lost, and it's like Giannis was injured.
Yeah, a healthy Giannis. I think
and now they're coming. Now they're coming into a season with a similar situation. And if they lose in this first round, what are y'all gonna do? Y'all gonna fire Doc this time now?
Yeah, it just doesn't.
They say let's figure it out.
You just hired a mid-season.
Like
that's the thing that bothers me. You hire down. I hire you to do a job. You excel at your job. You become employee of the year. The following year, one of your team members, somebody that you oversee, one of your best team workers. He gets injured. Y'all finish out the year lower than what you projected to finish out that year, right?
Mm-hmm.
I fire you because I believe that we need a change.
Yeah, we need to hit those numbers, and you're not hitting those numbers. We need to hit those
numbers. We didn't hit those numbers. I fire you. I hire somebody else during my interview process. I hire somebody else. Halfway through the quarter, halfway through the fiscal year, I fire him. We're at max. We're at the limit that we're expected to be. It's just not moving. The production.
We should be a little higher.
We should be a little higher.
Numbers, but
you're hitting all the benchmarks. You're hitting the numbers, but you're not hitting it the way that I need it to be. I want to be above where we're at. I don't want to be average.
Yeah.
I don't want to be at the mean. I want to be above. Okay, so I fire that guy. Bring in a proven guy from a different company who's been there before, who's brought up the numbers up, but hasn't had the employee of the year type that you've had in decades, right? Cool, whatever. We're still not hitting the numbers. We're still not. We're below average. We're worse than we was prior to So what exactly are we doing? I don't want to say that this is a Doc problem. I think that Doc has his own issues. Clearly, he's a in-season winning coach. He could get you to the playoffs. He could coach it up. He could draw up the X's and O's. I just don't think when it comes to playoff time that he's there as a playoff coach. I think that he's a seasonal coach. That's not a knock on him. I think that he's a fantastic coach just during the regular season. Playoff time, he hasn't shown me enough to warrant him as one of the premier coaches to have in the league. Pop has shown it. I could go through a list. There's been a bunch of coaches that have shown it. He's clearly hasn't been the one to show it. So you hire him, and you're expecting the results that Mike Budenholzer had given you. Why not have kept him in house? You have your star player didn't want that to happen. Your star player absolutely adored this coach, adored him. The players around gravitas to him. Y'all lost in the first round because the number 5, top 5 greatest player in the world currently was injured. You're gonna lose. You're gonna lose against a team that's red hot, that's hungry, a bunch of dogs, and your top dog is out. You're gonna lose.
And not to mention that the top dog is out. They fired the manager. You know what I mean? If we keep in the terms you was going with, right?
Yeah.
They got a new one. And let's not forget, in the midst of all of that, you fired a manager that he loved. You also got rid of a player, a coworker that was number 2. So you know what I mean? Who was number 2 in this pecking order of like importance on that team. So now you lost your top player in the playoffs, and you lost your second going into the next season, expecting those same results.
Yep. And don't get me wrong, I think game is fantastic.
This entire thing is tough all in all. And like you said, Doc has his issues, but these GMs just switching things up and having these short, and I understand this is just the way life is now.
Yeah.
It's instant gratification thing where we need it now. And I understand this team is only getting older and you do need to move some stuff and make things happen.
But this ain't how you do it.
But this is all so everything was so drastic.
Yeah. This is not how
everything was drastic. So it's like, nah. Like when we think about it, even we think like the Bulls and stuff, when they came back they lost and they had to make a change. They ain't fire Phil Jackson.
Nope.
They ain't trade Scottie Pippen.
Nope.
They went ahead and got a third player. They went and figured, you know what I mean? They ain't changed everything.
They just figured
it out. One move. You know what I mean? They made one move. They went ahead, fired the coach, got rid of the next best player, and picked up, you picked up somebody who could boost your offense, but you had lost your identity by moving one of the other players, and now you got a new identity you have to build.
Yep. And now you have to pray that your star can get the chemistry that he had with one of his best friends. Let's keep it a buck. Drew was one of his best friends. Like he said it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was like he felt like he was losing one of his brothers who one of them still on the bench. He should have been gone. I'm sorry. Let's call it a spade. But I don't want to knock Doc too much. I think I think Doc has a hard time.
I just think
it's hard to be a coach, to come in middle of the season, to try to pick pieces up, implement your own stuff, and then have to battle with the front office and the pieces that they've constructed that you had no say so. You're inheriting a team that you had no say so in.
That's like we said, it was just so drastic of everything moving that you're basically building an entire new culture with the same MVP player. Like, you got your MVP player and you got a lot of the same pieces and stuff, but you move that one extra piece and the coach.
Yep.
And wanted things to work. It's tough. So Doc has, like you said, Doc has his issues, but it's on his GMs moving stuff too much and changing the entire culture in the team.
They get one and done. I don't see Doc getting fired. I see the GM getting fired, and rightfully so. I think that the GM did this. He's your job's on the line. I wouldn't, because honestly, I wouldn't have fired the first coach. I forget both.
No,
I wouldn't have fired the first coach.
Who?
Well, I wouldn't have fired Mike. Hold on, period. I wouldn't have fired him.
Yeah, no. Hell no.
Made that decision. I wouldn't have fired the next coach I hired. You know what I'm saying? Let me get through the season. Let me see where we're at the end of the season. It's not like we was losing. It's not like we was behind on the sticks or whatever. Like we're still in the mix, and you're still in the mix. And I think that it's a combination of talent and star power, and maybe a little bit of coaching. But this is not on. This is all on the front office. The way that this team is currently constructed, like you're banking on Dame being Dame, which he really hasn't looked like Dame this year.
No.
But I also think it's because the roster is not constructed around Dame like it was in Portland. Dame shined because of the roster. Now you have to play Robin, which he's never had to do in his entire career. He has to learn how to deject and not be number one. Now you're number two. And then on top of that, your number one has to learn his new point guard. I don't know his tendencies. I don't know where he wants to be on the floor. I don't know where he needs to be able to get a shot off. I don't know when to let him isolate or when to insert myself so I could get the ball. It's a delicate balance. And you're asking them to do everything on the fly in one season and expecting to get back to the finals. Especially knowing that Boston just Boston just made 3 moves that bolstered their team. New York is coming in red hot. Cleveland is coming in red hot. Orlando is looking like, the 92 Pistons without the elbows throwing. You know what I'm saying? They just look like a completely defensive team that is going to be tough. And then you got Indiana, who's a young team who wants to run. As Brook Lopez to run up and down the court with them.
Go luck.
Yeah, then you got Miami, who's just dogs. They just want to come in the playoffs and shake shit. So it's tough. It's tough. I think that they get one and done, the GM gets fired. Period. I would fire the GM. I can't fire Doc. Can't. Yeah, I would give Doc one more year, short leash. Short leash. You got one more year. Because I'm gonna bring in the GM and we'll see what the GM likes. If he doesn't like you and how you move in with the team and everything, because right now y'all also playing for the rights to retain Giannis.
Yeah.
Any Giannis could go into this all season like, nah, I'm good. I'm good in Milwaukee. I did what I had to do. I brought them a championship. Now it's time for me to see what's up. Let me see how Miami looking. Or maybe I want to go to LA. Maybe, somewhere in LA. Clippers, whatever. Yeah, I would go somewhere warm. Milwaukee's cold. Like, you don't know, bro. Like, you're playing right now, you are playing with fire because you're number one player. All it takes is I don't like how this is going. I don't like what y'all doing on the back end. Trade me. I want out.
Yeah.
It's tough. But let's get into the last segment. Our most surprising and most disappointing teams so far this year. I'll go first. Most disappointing, the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm gonna stay on your ass.
God, I'm
gonna stay on your ass. Nah, I would say it's between the Bucks, but I do want to put in Atlanta. Atlanta has been highly disappointing. Highly disappointing. I figured that they would be a middle of the pack team. I still had them getting into the playoffs, and currently they're in a play-in. But I mean, Trae Young got injured. This team fell off the face of the earth. DeJounte Murray hasn't been as advertised. He shows up sometimes when he takes 50 shots, then he doesn't show up other times. He's just not as advertised. I think that he was better in Pop's system. You put him next to Wemby, and I think that DeJounte is going to be fantastic. But yeah, Atlanta just gave up too many pieces. They retained the wrong pieces, and yeah, it was the most disappointing team. 36 wins is unacceptable. To me, there was a 45-win team coming into the season.
Yeah.
So, yeah. West-wise, oh, man, this is tough. I think that it's a close tie again. I think it's Phoenix, Golden State, and LA, and the Lakers. Those are the 3 most disappointing teams to me. I think that I would probably say that the Lakers I would say Golden State is more disappointing, especially for the fact that they didn't really lose anything coming into the season.
Yeah.
But you lose Dre for 3 weeks. You lose Curry for like a week or 2. Clay looks like rookie Clay. Don't know what he's doing on the court. Can't hit a shot. And now you guys are starting to gel. I understand that. But if we're taking the whole season as a whole going into the playoffs, they would probably be my most disappointing team. I had them like middle of the pack, 4 or 5 seed.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta say this is gonna sound real good. They ain't lose anybody, but they lost themselves.
I mean, the only player that they lost was Poole, and it wasn't even like they really needed Poole. Poole was a luxury.
Yeah, that's a fact. But that's what I'm saying. They really lost themselves the seasons where you had to think about it as far as obviously Draymond. You punched somebody, you dealt with that, and you went to your therapy, and we still seeing some of the stuff that you're doing. And it's just like, yo, what'd you learn?
Yeah.
Clay, you were just talking about being a team player last year, doing this, that, and the third. And it was some things that you showed as just like, all right, cool, maybe you are a team player, but you still gotta show up to these games and knock these shots down. We need you to do your job. And as far as Steph is like, he lost his fucking cool. You know what I mean? Like he was getting so mad at Poole last year. Now he's fucking out here crying because of Draymond. Like
he's frustrated.
You gotta choose. Yeah, just so much. Like it's a lot going on, and we see why Bob Myers, I call him Bill. Bob Myers got up out of there because he didn't want to deal with these three. Yeah, like he's like, I love y'all, but I don't want to deal with this. I'm out.
Steph, I'll deal with that. I don't know about Clay and Dre right now.
Yeah, but as far as me this season, this surprising teams. Well, I'm gonna start with the disappointing.
Yeah, I ain't get my.
Oh yeah, my most disappointing teams in the West. We're gonna start with the Kings. Gotta start with the Kings because it's just like we were looking at you lighting the beam last season. You were looking like the next coming of the Warriors in your own version. As far as a team that's going to be fantastic, surprising, is going to come out and play a brand of ball that we're like, wow,
right?
This is what we're gonna, you know what I mean? This is some of the things we're gonna emulate again, and we're gonna keep it pushing and moving forward. So that was one of the disappointing, the fact that y'all in an 8th seed when last year y'all was like number 1.
Facts.
And it's like, it's understandable. All right, cool. You putting your foot in that door, and big bro, the Warriors go ahead and be like, yo, look, we're still kind of, all right, cool. Take that L, but this season you should have came back and started putting your foot on people's necks. And that didn't happen. So that was one of the disappointing teams for me, especially in the West. Okay. In the East, before we move, another disappointing team I got to throw out in the West. And it's because these my young boy teams. It's the Houston Rockets. I expected more from you guys.
Nah, I was gonna put them in
just
too,
a little bit more.
Nah, I think that
no. I understand they're
down,
developing.
Yeah. Then when Sengun went down, bro, I can't put them in there.
But the thing about it, I just expected some more exciting play, some more this, that, and the third. I was excited to watch y'all this season, and y'all kind of, you know what I mean? Kind of got me off the bandwagon. I'm still gonna watch y'all, but it was just like, all right, Houston's playing, whatever.
Give them another year. Give them another year.
Yeah. In the East, I'm gonna start it. I mean, only people who's really gonna be mad, who's gonna really vibe with this one, is the people from Detroit, because they're absolutely one of the most disappointing teams in the East for me. Because I was sitting here talking about them.
You was
I was talking about them. My boy Asar is still a problem. He's still a problem. The big man out there, he about to be Bam number 2. And Cade, you just gotta start working better. I understand you ain't got spacing like you supposed to be having, but I expected to watch some ball from y'all. You gotta actually get some wins. At least I'm gonna keep it a stack with you. You know, we expected more from Washington than you guys. As far as the team, as far as like, these guys have been somewhere and won. So for them just to have 2 more wins than you is more disappointing than them. But I wanted to watch Detroit and see some good basketball. Y'all did play some, don't get me wrong, they played some good basketball and they just lost games. because they're inexperienced and it was close games. They should have had more wins.
Yeah,
but they were disappointed. I expected more. Jaden Ivey, I wanted to see some dunks from you.
Yeah, man.
I wanted to see some stuff.
Season,
and y'all just didn't do it this season, man.
I'm not mad at that. Most surprising. Most surprising team, Orlando for me in the East.
Oh, yeah.
And Minnesota. I expected Minnesota to be in the mix this year. Didn't expect them to be number 2 in the West and just playing fantastic throughout the season. Like I expected them to be, top 4, 5, maybe 16 in the West. Yeah. Did not expect them to be this high up. So they're one of my most surprising. I think that Anthony Edwards, terrific jump this year. Truly making the team his own. He got dog in him. He got that dog in him. He got that desire. McDaniels, I think that he's really stepped into his role and he's a solid 3-and-D wing. And just the way that they could switch, just the way that even with Cat going down, they've still been able to still maintain a level of consistency and play. And then when you look at Orlando, I think Orlando too, man. Orlando has the best defense in the league, bar none. They have the best defense in the league. So you look at that and you're like, all right, what are they missing? Offense. That's it. They get more production offensively, man. They're gonna be a scary team. And they're young. That's the craziest thing. They're young. They defend. That's all they want to do. Get steals, blocks, rebounds. That's all they want to do. Now I need them to add some shooting to that. Add some 40% from 3. I don't even need 40. Give me 38. Give me 38 as a team.
As a team, I'm cool. Definitely.
So Orlando definitely. Those are my most surprising.
All right, we gotta put this. We gotta start writing stuff down so we don't have the same answers. But in the East, I definitely went with the Magics. The Magics was definitely my team. I was always praising Jalen Suggs. I think Jonathan Isaac is going to be the new prototype of someone who's going to come in, give you 20 minutes a game, shut down everything from the perimeter to the paint, and just play fantastic ball from you. And so I'm not going to hop on that. You went on about their praises, their accolades, who's fantastic, who's not. And where was that? That's the East. Now, moving on to the West, one of the most surprising teams, and it was just at the beginning of the season, but I got to give them love, is the Utah Jazz.
I'm mad at that.
The Utah Jazz, they play as a team, they played fantastic ball. Obviously, Lauri Markkanen showed another year again that he's a fantastic player. Yep. The coaching, the culture over there, everything over there has been moving there. Coach, I even know his name, Will Hardy at this point. And it's just like this team was just moving so well. And one of the surprising things was that they didn't make a move at the trade deadline, obviously. Moving one of those plays and get some assets. But I think it's just this way they wanted to play and just keep their culture moving and have a team that's just moving and grooving. But they're definitely one of the surprises for me as the Utah Jazz. And I wanted to show them some love. When nobody talks about them, we talk about y'all. At least me. He's always going to talk about the Knicks. But me, I'm gonna show love.
I talk about other teams other than I pick up the Rockets. I like the Rockets, man. And matter of fact, shout out to Mario, huge Houston Rockets fan. I told him when they drafted when he drafted Jalen Green, I said that you give them 2 to 3 years and them boys is gonna be good. What is this, year 2? Next year, them boys is gonna be good. I promise you. A healthy Sengun changes everything.
Yeah, and all this damn slander about Jalen Green and Sengun not working together. We've watched Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic do their thing together. Yep. All it takes is a little mindset shift, and Jalen Green and the coaching and move with these two as one of their players is fantastic. They are.
Yeah.
And then, you know, put my boy Men Thompson. You know, the Thompson twins are my boy. You put men in that start a lot of, man, and just say, yo, you be a small ball big. And I said it about Asar, I'm going to say it about a man. They need to put him in that Draymond Green type of role as well. Yeah, that Draymond Green, Aaron Gordon, you mesh those together because you already have a Jokic.
Yep.
And those two, because they're smart already, them two would be fantastic in those roles.
I agree. I definitely agree. Next year,
hey,
Houston's gonna make some noise.
Give me that coaching job, man. I just say it. I had him out there moving and grooving. You go,
yeah, man. Yeah, just put me on a staff. I'll be the conditioning coach.
You feel? I don't care. All my boys got jobs.
Yeah,
man. I'm gonna be like Giannis out there. All the brothers is coming in.
Yeah, we here, man. We here.
You feel me?
I can do this. But I'll be a fitness coach.
Exactly. Everybody coming to town, but man, y'all already know the vibes, man. Like, share, sub, and all the above. Your boys is. Tell the people about them. God damn, she left me. I'm back.
We see y'all next week, man. Playoff time. We here.